Good evening, and welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. Thursday night, the Premier League is back this weekend. Bye-bye internationals, and I could not be happier. How are you going, gentlemen?
Oh, mate, great. As you say, Premier League's back. Premier League's back. Can't wait. I'm pumped.
God, I'm
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, we like talking internationals because they're usually pretty good, but this time around, we said the other night, it just didn't have the same vibe. So club football's back, and to see you fine gentlemen, always a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely garbage. Tonight, just to give you, the viewer, the benefit of what we're doing, we will go through the fixtures. We'll do our predictions. At the moment, I think RJ is topping those, and I'm down the bottom. Rob somewhere nice and in the middle. We'll talk about some of the talking points along the way. I definitely want to chat about Cristiano Ronaldo. Will he start? Won't he start? And the case behind that. We'll talk about Arteta. And this game against Norwich, is it make or break? And we'll look at some of the other matches as well. There's some real crackers this week. RJ, I know there's some awesome comments in the live chat.
Yeah, I was just going to, exactly. So good overview there, Scott. So let's welcome those who have joined us. So we've got Tom from United Pubcast. How are you, Tom Champion? We got my Chelsea brother, Ben. Good to see you, legend. We've got our mate Mo, the Blue Lounge, who, for those who aren't aware, Scott and I have appeared on there recently and talked a bit of Arsenal, Chelsea, an all-round great guy. So go check out his stuff. Absolutely. We've got our long-standing good mate George. How are you, legend? And we've also got Declared in the house. All right, good to see you back, Declared. And finally, to round it off, we've got Chelsea Perspective joining us. Haven't seen you in a little while, so it's good to have you back.
Boys, what are you looking forward to most? Just one thing from this week. What are you looking forward to most? Robbie?
Viva Ronaldo, Viva Ronaldo. Mate, tell me, I think everyone's beaming the team. If you're a neutral or not, everyone wants to see him back in the Premier League, mate. Scoring hat-tricks, Stretford end. I'm pumped.
No, man, I tell you what, even as a neutral to all of it, it's nice to see someone as enigmatic and as prevalent as CR7 back in the Premier League. And the question that's on my mind, and I'm sure it's on a lot of fans' minds, is he going to be the Ronaldo we're used to, the one that's going to blow up the Premier League, or is he yesterday's hero? I don't think he will be. I think he's still got it, but I'm quite keen to see how he takes to it.
Yeah, well, for me personally, I'll give you a bit of a clue, Declared. I'm going to tip an Arsenal win this weekend. I'm just looking forward to seeing our first 3 points in the bag. God, they're long overdue. I'm looking forward to seeing the squad fit. But let's jump into each fixture. Some of them we won't speak about too much, but I'm sure there'll be others that ourselves and you in the live chat really want to talk through. Palace, Spurs.
Oh, tough one. Look, for me, I'll kick things off because we've got the unlikely terrible scenario of Spurs, being on top and perfect form at least. So we need Crystal Palace to step up here and do something. I don't have much confidence in them because while I had seen some signs of improvement following their disaster class against us in the opening day, I just think that, and as painful as it is for me to say this, Spurs are looking robust and resilient in defence. And as you know, all good wins start with your defence. So under Nuno, even though they've gotten a bit lucky, as we said, against Wolves in particular, there is something happening there at Spurs that are going to make them at least a formidable side. So I think they're going to they'll take care of business against Palace, unfortunately. How do you boys see it?
Yeah, look, and don't forget your prediction, RJ, because I can see our man Daniel's just joined us. Daniel, for those who don't know, he's the keeper of the scores. He tallies it for us, keeps us in the loop, even though he's a Chelsea
I predict my scores after the game, Scott, just to keep things rolling, mate.
It's no coincidence that Daniel's a Chelsea fan and you somehow keep topping this comp. But for me, look, I'm not going to say too much about this. Spurs, top of the table, defensively very sound. Obviously, Patrick Vieira would love to get some points from Spurs, but I can't see that happening. To me, too easy for Spurs, 2-0.
2-0. Robbie?
Yeah, not much. I think Son picked up a knock international breaks. I think he could be out this week. So I'm only going to go for a close one here, 1-0 to Spurs again. That's their favourite score this season.
Yeah, look, I'll round out my score because I forgot. My apologies. I'm going to go 2-0 also. So we'll lock that one in. And of course, those in a live chat, feel free to keep pumping your scores in. And we've seen a few pop up. So we've got Ben here, who said 2-0 Spurs. Some comments here from Declared about Wolves 2.0. This is quite interesting. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right.
Wolves should have too much.
Yeah, well, let's go on to the next match, Jen. So we've got the famous Gunners and how they've had a bit of a not-so-sensational start to the season against the Canaries. Scott, why don't you kick us off, mate?
Yeah, look, shocking start. We've said plenty about that. I predicted we'd beat Brentford, but I was expecting 0 points from the next two, and that's what we've got. This, to me, it's crunch time. And I know that sounds stupid to say, 4 rounds in, but Mikel Arteta and Edu, who came out and gave a very interesting interview, nothing less than 3 points is acceptable. Yeah, nothing less. We have a fully fit squad by all accounts. We'll see Gabriel and Ben White, I'm hoping. If we don't see them both starting, I don't want to hear excuses because they're meant to be fit. We'll see potentially new boy Tomiyasu playing at right back and Kieran Tierney on the left. There's no Granit Xhaka due to suspension. Brilliant. We'll see Lukonga and Thomas Partey. And look, we've got everyone fit. There are no excuses now. If we can't bank 3 points against Norwich, there's a problem.
Yeah, and Robbie, I was going to say, Rob, before we get your points on it, we've got a question here from our mate Daniel. So I'll just bring it up for you, Scott.
Look, Daniel, there's 2 answers to this question. There's what I would do, and then there's what Arsenal's board will do. Even if we lose, Arsenal won't sack him. They're not going to sack him yet. Edu's interview kind of showed that this is a long road. And I couldn't see them looking at something like that till there's been at least 10 games. So me personally, we've got the fully fit squad now. If we can't pick up 3 points here, it's over for me. It's untenable. In saying that, there's been some people out there saying they hope we lose so that Arteta gets a sack. But to me, that's nonsense. I never want my team to lose. Don't care who. I couldn't care if we're playing a team of 4-year-olds. I still want us to go out and be ruthless and demolish them. So
fair call.
It's make or break for me, but I think we'll do this game 3-1.
Robbie?
Yeah, well, look, I don't think I'll be able to watch this live because it's the same time as United, this one. So I will go back and watch it later on after. But, I'm thinking, like Scotty said, this is a must win for them now. I think it's going to be tight. I think it'll be 2-1 to Arsenal.
Yeah, okay. And look, I've been checking out the comments in the live chat, and amongst all the banter from our good mate Concierge of Crime and a few of the other guys around the relegation battle style comments, I think there's some good points, and Davide made a good point here about trying to pick up those points. I'll just bring it up here. About 4 points from next 2 games will buy by Arteta. And I think, Scott, you've shared your perspective on it, but I think for us, now's the time they've got to start making bank in terms of those points, because there's only so much capital you have, right? No matter how much of a plan the club has to try to keep you on board. But
if you can't do it here, you can't do it. I just want to do a bit of a special shout out too. Welcome, Chris. Haven't seen you. Haven't seen you before.
Yeah,
Chris, welcome, mate. Welcome,
Chelsea legend.
Welcome, and Andy as well. I think Andy subscribed today. Helping us on our way to 400. I might be wrong, but welcome anyway, Andy. Nice to see some new faces too.
Not sure about the 2 Muppets sort of thing. I'm going to have to check that out, Andy. We'll have to have a bit of a chit-chat, my friend. But for me, my prediction for this match, I reckon you will get the job done. Norwich haven't been as bad as what people have made it out to be, but I think you guys are the more desperate of the two, if that makes sense, and I think you'll edge it out 2-1 in the end, to be honest. So, we'll kick on to the next game, which will be our good friends from Brentford, the mighty Bee Stingers, and Brighton. I think this is low-key going to be a very interesting game, boys. Rob, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, I think you're right on the low-key interesting game. Brentford back at home. I'm sure their crowd, as we've seen in the first game, will be bouncing. Brighton have been decent this season. You know what I mean? I'm thinking maybe a draw here, but I'm thinking a couple goals each, maybe 2-2. I'm going to go for this one.
Oh, interesting. Brentford, I'm still thinking about that first game and the fact that it's at home. I think they might get up here. I think they might get up 2-1 against Brighton.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we've got David here saying 3-3. We've got Ben 1-1. We got George saying Tony's ultimatum in my fantasy team. I hear you, mate. Don't worry. Look, for me, it's a very exciting game. It is at Brentford, so that does sway my decision ever so slightly. But I'm going to actually be guided by the live chat here. I'm going to lock in a draw, and I'll lock in a 1-1, to be honest.
There we go, draws.
Interesting.
Yeah. What about this one, fellas? It's the Battle of the City, but which city? The FA Community Shield replay, the Leicester versus Man City. What a blockbuster clash from the neutrals' perspective. Scott, thoughts, mate?
I'm still not sleeping well after what Man City did against us. Tore us to shreds, and I don't think they'll do an Arsenal to Leicester, but I think City will have too much in the tank, to be honest. I'm going with City 2-1.
Yeah, I'm just going to take into account the whole Brazilian situation at the moment. No Ederson by the look of it. No Jesus. Fernandinho obviously is Brazilian. It looks like all the Brazilians are banned at the moment for this game week. And I think Leicester as well. It won't be an easy game. And I'm pretty sure, I can't remember who City's backup goal, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be playing with their third goalkeeper or something I read. So, I'm going to go for a Leicester here. 2-1 to Leicester.
Wow. Big shout.
Yeah. So I think there's a couple good points. The fact that it's the Brazil ban, the fact that they're playing a King Power, and you guys know the respect I have with Brendan Rodgers, and the fact that they've also got the wood over City in recent times as well gives them a little bit of a psychological edge. I don't think it'll be a win, but I'm going to lock in a 1-1 draw. So just a bit of a shout out to a couple of people in the live chat have called this one. So I think, Chris, you've mentioned a tough 1-1. I think it's in relation to this game. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've got Chelsea Perspective saying 3-0 to City. We've got a special guest in the house. Rob may know him. Julian and Grulia. How are you, brother?
The best of the brothers. The one we like.
Our Tony tuned in live.
Exactly. We need to change him over from that Arsenal rubbish, but we'll get him off that one. We got Daniel saying 2-2. I like that. That's going to be exciting to watch. Ben is saying 3-1 to City, even without their Brazilian stars. And look, that's no crazy by any means, because if any team is blessed with depth and talent, City's, number 1, 2, and 3 on that. FBL Rubber Ducky, good to see you, champion. 2-0 to City. Julian also thinks 2-0 to City as well. And then we've got George here. He's saying he can't write off Leicester 2-1 to the Foxes. So, we are getting a nice blend here. So it's going to be a cracking contest either way you look at it. And I think I'll definitely be shooting that. Because what time is it again, Rob? Do you know off the top of your head? Is that the midnight one?
I think it's a midnight game. Yeah, I think there's about 5 or 6 games on the goal rush. I dare say our game will be the main one on the goal rush. So, yeah, I'll have to tune in.
Why would your game be the main one, mate? Why would your game? You've got no one important playing.
I'm sure Optus Sport has got like a whole Ronaldo day on, like the whole day is just Ronaldo day on Saturday, mate. So
that's a long penalty rule, mate.
They're definitely milking it.
What's that? What you paid for, the hype. The hype is real.
Exactly. I was just going to say it's a long penalty rule to watch all those penalties, mate.
100%. Two more quick ones. Declared's calling 2-0 to City, and Andy's saying Leicester have to start somewhere 2-1. Couple of 2-1s to Leicester.
Yeah, like I said, nice blend here.
What was your prediction? I didn't hear it, sorry, mate.
1-1, I believe I said.
1-1.
Fence, mate.
Daniel, whatever the result is, mate, just tick it off, okay? All right, arguably the game of the week, at least from a United fan's point of view, the return of CR7, the one Cristiano Ronaldo. Is he going to start? Is he going to impact off the bench? You know my thoughts about trying to inject people straight away. Could be a little bit of a backfire, but that didn't work with Lukaku against Arsenal. Do you think something similar with Ronaldo? Is he ready now? Just throw him in there?
Big question marks, man. Look, he's had 2 days training now. He's going to probably have another 1 or 2, obviously, before game day. For me, I'd love to see him start, but I can see both sides here. I could see a big come off the bench, 60th minute, big crowd, big ovation from the crowd, an extra boost. Hopefully, would be up at that part of the game, and yeah, he can come on and get on the score sheet. I think it's because we've got the 2 games now. We've got the Champions League coming in the midweek, so I don't know if it's going to be like a start, come off at 60 minutes and be ready for the Champions League, or it's going to be come off the bench and then he might start in the Champions League. So look, it's tomorrow night, the big press conference. I'm sure, hopefully, Ollie might give us a couple more clues. But yeah, I'd personally love to see him start, man. I'm sure there'll be a big hype around the ground, and I'm sure all United fans will be looking forward to seeing that team list on Saturday night.
Hey, Rob.
Yep.
Who's your front 3? If you're Ollie, who's your front 3 tomorrow? Because you'll play with the front 3, I'm assuming.
Yep. Yeah. For me, if I'm picking the team and everyone's fit on Saturday night, I'm going Sancho on the left, Ronaldo down the middle, and Greenwood off the right.
At least one of them's good. Pick which one I think's the good one out of that 3 at the moment. Greenwood. And it's not the 45-year-old, and it's not the has-been or the waste of money from Dortmund.
Greenwood, mate. Greenwood he's in amazing form. I told you, I've talked this kid up a million times. He's such a great rising star, and I hope he continues.
Is Martial fit?
Yeah, he played 2 games for France, and he actually looked decent.
Do you think his Man United career is dead? Does Ronaldo come in kind of kill him off?
A lot of people have talked about it, including myself. I think this is his last chance. This year is do or die. If you go back 2 seasons ago, it was his best season he ever had. Last season was probably his worst season he ever had. So, look, he's been around with us for quite a few years now, and he's not young anymore. He needs more consistency. So, like I said, a lot of people are saying this is his year. It's rather do or die. If he doesn't deliver, I could see him out the door. But mate, he's definitely the player that can definitely add plenty to the team, man. When he's on form, he's
that's the problem, though, isn't he? It's a would-be, it could be not enough type player, and we have that similar. We have a fair few comments coming in, all predicting quite large wins for United, but this is actually a very good comment from Daniel. What about Rashford? Because you just forget how much depth they really have in these forward positions. Rob, what do you think, mate?
Well, Rashford's not fit yet. That's why he's not in the conversation at the moment. I think he's still at least October until we start seeing Rashford starting to get fit after he's had his surgery. But when Rashford does come, then yeah, it's a good headache for Ollie to have. And look, it's just the depth we've got everywhere. Between him, Sancho, and Martial fighting for the left positions. You got Greenwood and obviously Sancho can play on the right and then you got your 2 Cavani and your Ronaldo down the middle. So there's a lot of depth and a lot of options for Ollie, and it's good to have the depth like that, man.
Yeah, as we like to say in the banking world, there's more options than a trading desk they've got there for a good old United attack. But David brought up a good comment too, because obviously a lot of the rhetoric was around United absolutely dominating Newcastle. But this is actually a very good comment, because this game tends to produce some very good, exciting type of football. And like he said, the Magpies tend to make it an exciting one. So, look, we've got to give some predictions for it, boys, but I don't think it's going to be the whitewash that many people are anticipating. Why don't we kick it off with you, Rob, to give us your thoughts on the scores?
Yeah, look, man, I think if we get a quick start, get off on the score sheet nice and quick, I do think it could be a 2 or a 3-0. Like I said, for me, you know me, I want to keep the clean sheet. I want to get the 3 points, but I want to keep the clean sheet. But if I have to pick my score predictions, I will do a 3-0. We normally do get a pretty decent score, like a 4-1 or 3-0 at home to Newcastle. So I'll continue the theme and I'll go for a 3-0.
I'm with Rob, 3-0.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be a little bit less. I'll lock in 2-0 for me. Just before we get on to the next one, thanks for the awesome live chat. It's really buzzing. Don't forget, smash that like button, share it with a friend, and help us as we slowly make our ascension up to the big 400. So the next game, it's perhaps not as big ticket, if you will, but I think equally interesting. You've got the Saints versus the Mighty Hammers. Scott, why didn't you get us going, mate?
Look, I'll keep it short, sharp and sweet on this one. West Ham have been in some good form. Southampton, to me, you never know what you're going to get. It's like rolling a die. You don't know where it's going to land, but I'm confident West Ham. West Ham get up. Benrahma's been in brilliant form. Antonio's been in brilliant form. I'd hate to be playing against them at the moment. They're confident. So I'm going with 2-0 to West Ham.
Robbie?
Yeah, look, I quite agree with Borgie then, and I'm taking into account as well that for West Ham, this is when the challenge is going to start heading up. Cup games, Europe's going to start coming into the picture for them now. So games against Southampton, I think they're definitely going to want the points. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 to the Hammers.
Yeah, fair call, fair call. I'll round it off and say I'll stick with my 2-0. And I'm actually quite keen to see how our fellow blue, big Kurt Zuma, goes over there at West Ham now. I think he's going to be an exceptional signing for them. We've got Ben here saying 2-1 West Ham. We've got Davide all backing the Hammers here for 3-1 win. Not
as long as Antonio gets on the score sheet, huh? As long as Antonio's on the score sheet, that's it.
Yep, absolutely. We got Declared here saying, oh, this one, 1-1 draw. I like that. And I agree with this comment, by the way, in terms of how they were against United. Yep. That's actually a very good pickup. And Andy, our good friend now, 3-1. Nice, good stuff. Well done. We're all pretty consistent with that one, champions. Next one, Watford versus Wolves. This will be actually a very interesting game. Rob, your thoughts, mate?
Oh, mate, I'm going for Wolves here because all three games I think they've really been good, and they haven't been clinical in the final third. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm even going to say that Traore is going to get on the score sheet here. I'm going to go for a. Yeah, I've enjoyed watching them, and look, against us, they gave me my heart was living on the edge. The amount of chances they created. I'm going to go for a 3-1 to Wolves on this one. I think they're going to finally open the floodgates finally.
Okay, Scott?
To me, 1-0 Wolves. They do have to score, but I can't see them going from their scoring struggles to opening the floodgates. Traore as well. I'm going to put the curse on him. Traore couldn't hit a barn door for machine gun, man. His finishing is terrible. But in saying that, watch him come and score 3 this week.
Triple captain Traore this week, people.
Do it.
Triple captain. The TCT, the triple captain Traore. You heard it here first from Rob. Yeah, look, I'm in a large agreement with Robbie here. To me, Wolves should get the job done. I've really been enjoying what they've been bringing to the table. And there's that old joke that them and Brighton are handshaking about the XG champions, but eventually it's got to work for them. It's got to work. I don't think Watford are playing too bad at the moment, don't get me wrong. But there's something about this new look Wolves that once they get firing, they're going to be a team that you don't want to sort of play too often because they're going to give you a bit of a headache. Now, we've got a few comments here. So we've got Ben with the 2-1 to Wolves. Big Jules are saying 1-0 Wolves. David is saying a board draw, worst game of the round. That's interesting. Maybe he thinks it's going to be quite defensive in nature, and that's why he's got that viewpoint. We've got Chris Clement 1-0 to Wolves. Dan saying 1-1. And we've got, of course, some Declared saying 2-0 to the Wolves. I like that. And then we've got Andy here. My head says Wolves 2-0 or more. They have so much threat for me. United were lucky. Absolutely, Andy. I'm not sure if you caught our last episode on that, but we're very much of the same opinion, my friend. Now, a game that I am very interested in for obvious reasons. Will Lukaku and co cause Villa the blues, as I would like to say? Now, those that have been following the injury news lately, there's been some question marks about whether or not Lukaku is going to be right to start because he's been carrying a bit of a thigh injury. He says he's all good, but apparently he's been nursing it, and there has been a bit of question marks. Personally speaking, I think he will start. But if we're going to look at the international break for a bit of guidance on that, I'm actually quite happy to see that Timo Werner had a very good international round. Yes, he did miss a big sitter earlier in the day, and I acknowledge that. 3 games, 3 goals. That's scoring breeds confidence for a striker, and I think he's someone that will take that back with him. Whether or not he starts is another question, but I think he's going to be another player that is going to really improve what we're bringing collectively. And overall, given the fact that Martinez and Buendia, I understand, are out, that's going to hurt them a lot, especially Martinez, I would say. And I think we'll get the job done pretty safely, and I'll lock in 2-0 to the Mighty Blues. Scott?
Yeah, look, to me, I think your scoreline's bang on. I think Lukaku will play. He's listed with as an injury doubt, but surely he'll be there. He's pretty tough.
You'd think so.
And he's in my fantasy Premier League team, so I need him there, low key. So let's see how it goes. But before we go to Rob, there are a lot of you in here at the moment. Please smash that like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We're on the road to 400. We want to get there soon, and we can't do it without all of your support and loyalty. So thank you to those who keep coming back, but please hit that like button. Let's at least get it into double digits for the night. What about you, Robbie? Chelsea Villa, you with RJ Knight. Easy win for Chelsea, 2-0.
Yeah, boys, we got the hat trick again, the rare hat trick, 2-0. I agree with you both. Look, I've told you, Chelsea looked the goods for me. Like I said, the two big players, especially Martinez in goals, he's a massive miss for them. Really big player. Again, and then their creativity from Buendia in the midfield. At the bridge, I think they're going to be raging to keep going with their good form. Yeah, definitely 2-0 to the Blues on this one.
Yeah, excellent. And in the live chat, we've got Ben here, 2-0. We've got Daniel. He thinks we're going to concede. Are you thinking we're trying to be charity FC, Daniel? Hopefully not, my friend, unless it's an OG. Georgie, whatever he has to say, Villa probably won't. Yeah, that's right, absolutely. Chris, I think you're hopefully not just thinking with your heart, but hopefully your head's paying off there, my friend. I'll sign up 4-0 every day of the week. Declared, he's, again saying, for sure, those two big players around and should make it for a 2-0 affair. Chelsea Perspective, 3-1. And just a couple more here. We've got our good friend Almighty Blues. Hey, good to see you, my friend. Hope you put your score in the chat. Chelsea Villa, hopefully it's 15-0. And Andy, Chelsea win, don't care who scores as long as Lukaku gets a kick in.
I like Andy.
I don't know, mate. He might be the first one blacklisted from the show. Just throw him up, of course. Let's move on to a game that I'm actually very, very interested in as a neutral in this, of course. We've got, where is it? Leeds versus Liverpool. Klopp versus Bielsa. High-octane clash or what? Absolutely. Rob, thoughts, mate?
Yeah, attack versus attack, I think we're going to see. We're all thinking there's going to be plenty of goals in there, so let's not hope it's going to end in a 0-0. But yeah, man, this will be a really good game. We all know what Bielsa's like. He doesn't know how to defend, and he's all guns blazing. I think Klopp, like I said, they're going to have Alisson out, so I think I could see them being just a tad more defensive than what they normally are, just for little things like that. Obviously, Firmino's out, but I don't think that's a big loss, man, because I think Diego Jota, he slots into that team. I actually rate him better than Roberto Firmino at the moment. But yeah, Alisson, obviously, another Brazilian out, so another big loss. Look, this could go either way, this one. Liverpool, I just don't see Liverpool dropping points still, but maybe 2-1 to Liverpool, man.
2-1 to Liverpool, Scott?
Yeah. To me, Liverpool still have way too much attacking threat. They're both going to play attacking, but it's like drag racing. One person's in a Ferrari, the other's in a Datsun. Leeds are the Datsun in this hypothetical. That's a big thing. Mate, Leeds have a great philosophy, but Liverpool have the players and the philosophy. It's no disrespect to Leeds. Nothing wrong with the Datsun.
Maybe it's more like maybe we can use a too fast, too furious-ism where it's when they have the race for the pink slips and they've got the big American muscle car versus the turbo car. Maybe it's like that. It's not as dramatic as a Datsun.
I'm comfortable with Datsun and Ferrari.
Yeah.
And
on that analogy, you must be coming up with a 3 or 4-0 to Liverpool then.
I'm going 3-0 Liverpool.
Wow.
I'm torn between 3-0 or 3-1. I just think Liverpool will have too much for them.
Yeah, fair call. I think the main difference is not the quality of the attack; it's the fact that Liverpool have got a defence in place, and it's just whether or not who starts off firing on all cylinders first. So if Leeds were to go out the blocks first and somehow jag a lead, it could perhaps throw Liverpool off a bit to be on the, trying to commit too much forward, and all of a sudden Leeds get another one, and then it becomes one of those ugly days for Liverpool. But for me, I don't think it's going to swing that way. I do think they will edge it out, and I'm going to lock in a 2-1 to the Reds. Let's see what some of our awesome live chat has to say. So we've got Benny again with 3-1 to Liverpool. Chris Good man. I wish I could.
2-1 Leeds. I like it. I like it.
I've got a crown to defend. I've got a predictions crown to defend, so I can't do that, but I'll happily sign up for that. We got Georgie. Bielsa ball seems to work against Liverpool. Yeah, fair call. Fair call. Daniel, 3-1 to Liverpool. This is a good bit of analysis here from Declared. So he's obviously mentioned who won't be available. But also, I was going to mention the Rafinha one too. So
yeah, true.
Yeah, so that could affect the proceedings because it's quite good.
James,
yeah, for sure. But this is probably a comment of the round so far from Andy. Dirty Leeds 4, Mickey Mouse's 3. Let's screenshot that one, boys. That's pinned on our tweets. Excellent. And we've got Tommy here. Yeah, go on, Rob.
No, who's the backup keeper for Liverpool?
Someone in the live chat will know.
Yeah,
I forgot his name now. Adrian? Is it No, who is it?
Help us out, live chat. I'm not sure who the backup is.
Someone will chuck it in the live chat in a minute.
Absolutely. And while you're thinking of that, like we've said here, don't forget to smash that like button because this has been an absolutely dynamic discussion.
Hey, I just wanted to check that comment.
Yeah, David.
I forgot that David is a Leeds fan.
Yes, he is. I love that. That's with a rotor engine. It's not a motor, it's a rotor. Absolutely. Let's move on to the next game. It is Adrian. So I was right because he's stuffed up against us previously. I remember, and I thought so. This is another part of. Let's moving on from one Merseyside area to the other. We've got Everton versus Burnley. This is a low-key quite an interesting match, boys. What do you think, Rob? Get us going, mate.
I don't know. This is a hard game. I'm just trying to think. Is there many Brazilians? And obviously Richarlison's there. Yeah. Allen's there. Yeah, it's a hard one, this one. Burnley, like I said, I have been impressed with Burnley this week. This year, I've talked them up a bit. They haven't got all the points on the board, but they have been decent. I don't know, mate. Borgie, can you buy me some time, mate? Because I'm a bit tossing. I'm sitting on the fence at the moment.
Yeah. I think George is spot on. It's going to be a boring game. I don't think 0-0. I'm going for 1-1 draw in this one. Burnley can make matches very difficult for their opponents, and Everton, to me, haven't been convincing this season. So I think Burnley will give them a tough time. I'm going for 1-1.
Okay, that's a good call. Thanks, Ben. I didn't know that.
Okay, so we've got a couple Everton results here. We've got Declared here, 1-0 to Everton. We've got Almighty Blues, 2-0 to Everton. I dare say part of that, even Daniel here was, I just had him there, Daniel there, 2-1. And we've got, have we seen this Legs Rooney?
Yeah. Legs Rooney's good friend, usually watches the replays and gives me plenty of stick. So
excellent. Yeah, they went 2-0. They went 2-0 to Everton. Chris is going for a 0-all. So for me, look, I will lock in. I do think it's not going to be I did say low-key interesting, but that's because I think it's going to be quite tactical and not as open-ended as what Leeds Liverpool is going to be. I do think I'll get the job done, and I will lock in a 2-1 to the Toffees on this one. So,
all right, boys. I'm going to go with Declared. He's got me over the line, 1-0 to Everton.
Nice. Okay, good stuff. And I believe that's all of the games covered. But Daniel, I know you're the most astute one here. If we've missed any games, of course, feel free to shout them out in the live chat. But we've also got one more comment here from Antonio about his score. He's saying, love it as always, boys. Thank you, amigo. 2-1 to Everton. So that's what I said as well, champion. For me, let's go into now FPL, because that's always something that sparks a live debate, because for those who have checked out the ladder recently, I'm winning the other side of the ladder. So I'm trying to adopt the golf technique. Less points is better, but I need to quickly change that and start to accumulate. I think I've already made a few subs now because I did it just outside the time window. So I might need to look at some wild card changes. But Scott, what do you think, mate? Who are your sort of big ticket players this round?
Look, I think the big question for a lot of people playing this week was, do you bring Ronaldo in? And
or do you wait?
If you're bringing him in, who do you sacrifice? Look, I played my wild card 2 rounds ago, I think, but I've still managed to get Ronaldo in. I've got a nice front three of Ronaldo, Lukaku, and Tony.
Wow, very top heavy.
I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm banking on some Spurs defenders, to be completely honest. I've got 2 Spurs defenders in my back 3. So it's a bit of a gamble, but mate,
and you call yourself an Arsenal fan. You can't pick Spurs players. What are you doing?
When it comes to fantasy Premier League, I'm not putting Arsenal players in there just because I'm a fan, or else I'd be in your ladder position, man. So,
well, mate, we can't pick championship players, mate. It's a fantasy Premier League, okay?
That's it. But yeah, the hard thing for me as well, boys, was captaining this week, because you've got like Lukaku against Villa, and Villa are a little bit weaker. You've got Ronaldo obviously against Newcastle. The fairy tale script is that he scores in his return. You've got Salah against Leeds. You'd think that's going to be pretty open. And then West Ham playing against Southampton. Captaining was really hard for me this week. Who have you guys captained? I've gone with Salah.
Yeah, I haven't nailed on a captain yet. At the moment, this is I'm actually good. I haven't made any transfers. I'm trying to get my first rollover so I can get 2 free transfers next week. I'm quite happy with my team. I'm not gonna knee jerk. I'm the United fan here, and I'm not really interested in bringing Lukaku or Ronaldo in at the moment. I've never really been into the expensive or premium strikers. I just think they're too expensive, and unless they're scoring 1 or 2 or assisting every single week, I don't think they're worth the money. When you have people like Antonio sitting at 7.5 and he's getting a goal or assist, even a Tony at 6, if he can get some kind of points. I always like to go hard on the midfield, and even with all these attacking wing backs these days, man, if they can keep a clean sheet and you get an assist or something, that's where you get your big points. So at the moment, I'm going to try and roll over, keep my my subs. I think I might even go for a Bruno. A lot of people have actually got rid of Bruno over the A lot of people got Bruno just number one so they could bring in, like, have the money to bring in a Lukaku or a Ronaldo. But I can see him against Newcastle maybe getting a couple of assists if we were to win a 2 or 3-0. I'm gonna give him the chance. I'm gonna give it to Bruno. I'm thinking Bruno this week's gonna get my armband, and then but on the low key, I'll be watching, not this week because of the whole Brazilian thing, but I'm going to be looking to bring in Fernand Torres, because he's going to be playing, looks like he's going to be playing number 9 for City. He's listed as a midfielder. I think he's only like 7 million, and he's already been getting good big points already, man. So I'll be looking there.
He's not going to play Arsenal every week, Rob.
No, but he plays for City. They're going to be creating chances, plenty of chances for him every week. So you just stay on your Lukaku, and I'll try and get him in soon, Mr. Torres.
Well, I tell you what, you got to start. Like I said, I made my change before just the last game. The window closed, and the player I brought in was Reece James, who, as we know, was controversially sent off against Liverpool. So that's now have to rejig my formation slightly on that one. But I'm just having a look here. On paper, it's looking pretty good. I've got the better Mason in my team, not Greenwood, just to be clear. And I think we've got Jamie Vardy, who I've actually been quite happy with. Actually, he's been performing quite steadily. I've got Alexander-Arnold here in the back. Schmeichel in goal, I think, might be a bit of a concern for me. So I might need to see if I can move him around a little bit. But overall, it's a pretty balanced squad. I'm quite keen to see what the rest of the chat here is. I know I've got Declared saying he might give Lloris the captain this week. We've got
Tom here. Tom here. Help from the Brains Trust.
Let's have a look.
Decision time. Zaha's let me down for 3 seasons now. Time to buy the bullet and sell. Well, Tom, you have come to the right place. If you've seen mine and RJ's teams, you know that we're exactly the people to give you advice. I would say, Tom, because you're a Man United fan, you certainly didn't stitch me up when I came on your show with a confronting thumbnail and title. I'm going to say keep him, mate. I think he'll do really well. Keep him. He'll do well this week. Don't let him go.
I got your back, Tom. You shouldn't even have him in the team. Sell him
triple captain him
before he goes down in price.
Triple captain. Definitely.
I reckon. This is Magran Davide. I like this one, man. Your whole squad healthy, first time ever. Big week, fingers crossed. Good luck, legend, on that one. This is a good question from Ben. Let's have a look. You reckon everyone is focusing on Ronaldo and Lukaku but sleeping on Kane? It is interesting. He did make our thumbnail, by the way, which I made. But it's a good point because he's not the flashy new signing, so to speak, but we know just how good he is. He is the reigning Golden Boot winner. You're right. It's just the fact that Spurs have been doing pretty well without him, but anytime he's back in the squad, surely he's going to be an impactful player. So I actually think that's a good shout out. What do you think, boys?
Spurs, just like I said, we've all seen Spurs. Yes, they've got their 3 wins, their 3 goals, their 3 clean sheets, but they haven't looked amazing. Like I said, they haven't convinced me. And even look, good luck to them. They've won all their games, but they haven't looked like there's goals, a lot of goals coming in. So, like I said, everyone's sleeping on Kane, but I said he's like 12 point. He's one of the higher ones, 12, 2. And like I said, he hasn't scored yet, or maybe he's got one.
Yeah, but he missed a couple of games too. Came off the bench. Sometimes Harry Kane does this some seasons. He starts slow, the banter begins, and then he'll just start banging in goals for fun, and he ends up near the Golden Boot again. So, I definitely think he'll earn his price tag. He'll be one of the top 3 strikers by the end of the season, but yeah, it just hasn't happened yet. So I think it will happen.
Yeah, and I agree. So it's a long game, isn't it? And traditionally, I think the one thing that puts me off a little bit about Harry Kane is, I don't like to use the term lightly, but he's a little bit injury prone. Like, he has shown that. It's no fault of his own, of course, because he's a quality professional. But I think for a competition where you need consistency in terms of minutes, because it's hard to get a lot of points when you're not available, it kind of hurts your cause. But no, look, for me, he's a definitely quality player, and I keep my eyes open to bring him in, especially if it's not working, because I've got, like I said, Vardy up front. I've got Danny Ings, who scored that spectacular goal just the other week, so I think he's coming good. And my Smokey, and he's actually scored an international break. So if you're looking for a little bit of a heads up, and I know you're thinking, why am I getting a heads up from someone that's coming 500 from the ladder? But a cheap player, that's an up-and-coming promising attacker, Armando Broja. Good player, honestly. Watch him, because he has been doing really well, and I think he's going to turn a few heads this season. Any surprise packets you guys have got?
Borgie?
I'm going to get called a closet Spurs fan because I keep talking about him, but
knew it.
I think their defence is definitely
Reguilon's a fair show. I like Reguilon. I've looked at one to bring Reguilon in.
Reguilon is going for 5.2, and Eric Dyer, who's played 90 minutes every game, is at 4.6. At 4.6, a team that hasn't conceded in 3 games, it's tricky to look past them. And like I can see my uncle's in the chat. Big ups to you, Al. Nice to see you here. They haven't conceded, so it seems like Nuno has come in and fixed that. So, I mean, it's still early. Anything could happen. Hopefully they drop. But yeah, it's interesting. We'll have to wait and see and come back to it on Tuesday night. No.
Is this a laugh or what, Legs Rooney?
No.
Are we having a laugh or what? What's going on here?
Legs Rooney really likes all the crap that you put on me every week, always commenting about it. But
I know. I saw him in the chat. Saying Reece James being sent off. Controversial. What game are you watching? Not that I have a conflict of interest or anything, mate. It was a dead set terrible call. Come on.
But look, it's going to be interesting to see what the Fantasy Premier League leaderboard looks like on Tuesday night show when we do that. Just while we're talking about the weekend, keep your eye on the channel next week. We're not committing to doing this every week. I know I'm definitely doing it this week, and when the boys have time, they might do it too. But I'm going to be doing a match reaction, just a short 5-minute video after the Arsenal game, maybe in the morning, just speaking about my thoughts on the game. So if the boys have time, we're all family men, we all work. But just keep your eyes peeled on the channel, because you might start seeing some little 5-minute match reactions. We'd love you to have a look and share your thoughts too. But remembering that we do most of that talk on Tuesday anyway. So
good shout. It'll be exciting. I think what makes that interesting, Scott, people might think you're going to talk about it on Tuesday. Why would you do that? I think it's sometimes the raw reaction in the heat of the moment, while it's fresh, you get some really good insights beyond all the frustration when it doesn't go our way. I think because it's so, like I said, fresh in your mind, you remember every nth degree detail, and therefore you actually come out with some really golden nuggets. So I think that's actually going to be pretty exciting. Speaking of getting our thoughts on some other topics, I'm quite keen to get your thoughts on something quite controversial, which was the Brazil, player ban, which we spoke about earlier. Now, we all saw the farce, what happened against Argentina. We did speak about it the other day, and it was a bit of a Mickey Mouse setup, if we're being honest. What do you make of this ban that's been imposed? And do you think it's something that is going to now set a bit of a precedent, especially the backdrop being this is a COVID-induced environment, Premier League, it's the club's assets. Yes, we want international game to be growing, but are Premier League clubs being forced into a position now where they're having to pick the lesser of the two evils? Because I thought this was quite a controversial decision to invoke and quite unfair, if I'm being honest. What do you guys think?
Yeah, what do you reckon, Boogie? I'll let you go first on this one.
Well, mate, unfortunately, as we're seeing, the climate is very different. And I know there were some clubs that didn't want players to go and play internationals. In some cases, the players just said, bugger it, we're going. But yeah, I think it's the clubs and the Premier League fans that do suffer. But this is a reality of the world we live in. So there needs to be some kind of way that they can make it a win-win, because at the moment there are Premier League clubs now who are going to struggle because they're losing important players to their team, except for United losing Fred. I can see that George is happy about that.
100%.
It's really tricky because obviously Premier League players want to protect their investment in the player and the wages they're paying, but at the same time, there's no greater honour than pulling on your nation's jersey. So it's tricky. They need to come to some kind of agreement.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a backstab. It's just like saying, "Oh, you didn't let them go, so we're going to punish you." I didn't even know they could do stuff like that, to be honest. But look, like I said, I think we're the only team that comes out with, like, a lot of United fans. Me personally, I'm glad. I'm happy to make the 5-day, 5 month for Fred, to be honest, just so we can hopefully get Donny into the team or something like that. But yeah, I couldn't believe what happened the other day during the match, let alone now. And I was just reading Declared. He's saying that this could be they are talking about extending this to all South American players. So that's pretty crazy, man.
Will have massive impacts on the Premier League, because we're thinking about the short-termism effect of it in terms of it's 5 days. Squads, clubs have got squad depth, it's fine. But like you said, if it extends to all South American nations, and we all know that there's a large composition of South American players in the Premier League, this is going to start having effects on where teams start being placed, because squads will be stretched, and all of a sudden this actually has a real financial impact in terms of placing. So it's not just, big deal, they'll just bring person X to come in and substitute for them. Not when you've spent, like you said, Scott, big money on investing in these players, and all of a sudden, due to no fault of their own, they're being artificially removed from the equation. So this is actually a good comment here from Declared. I agree. They've got to come up with something better. And it's all nice and well for us to sit here at our home comfort saying, how do you balance the equation to get the right outcome? But you just look at things and you get the gut feel test, or the pub test, as they like to say, and you just think 5-day ban, it's not like this is a normal situation where clubs have said, nah, to hell with the internationals, we want to protect our players. We know this is a high-risk climate. Like, why would you, as a club, send your players out knowing that it's a high-risk thing? For what's the real benefit, especially when you're the ones forking out the cash? Again, it's not to say we want players not to represent their countries because they deserve it. And like Alex said before, a lot of players, if not all, would choose to accept playing for their country as the highest honour. But again, these are unusual circumstances, and FIFA, that was such an unreasonable stance, I thought, but it could just be a bit of flexing going on. That's how I read it, to be honest.
I don't know why they don't think we have 5 international breaks in a season, especially in the current climate. I don't know why they don't compact it to 2. Like, I was listening to
need a
today.
World Cup every 2 years.
No, not the World Cup. That's crap, that stuff. But instead of doing it, like I said, there's got to be another international break in like the first week of October and then November again. I don't know why they just don't say, look, I know this international week was hard for everyone, but have a month off, make it like it's a thing, and play all your World Cup qualifiers in a month. So I think it works out better for everyone. Number one, it's going to work out better for the club that they're not losing players back and forth, getting injury, isolation, this and that every 5 seconds. But even for the on the international side of it, they're getting a lot more cohesion as a team. They're getting training under it. It's not just like, okay, come here 3 days, we're playing 3 games. They get it. They get that, the chemistry of the game. What we got? For this
I'm
week,
sure that's what most of
Antonio.
United fan base thought.
I'm sure. But yeah, I just don't understand that. Instead of making it 5 separate breaks, make it compacted into 2, make it longer, and then I think both parties would be happier that way.
Yeah, no, you make a good point. And just look, we're not going to solve it here. I think this was just while it was fresh in the air, because I dare say this won't be the last of these sort of, in my opinion, farcical, controversial decisions that make their way through the football world. While we ponder that, we'll let the live chat continue to think about it. But we're about to hit the end of our show, but we wanted to have a few quick fires to throw around just to really, get our way and descend into a nice soft landing, because it's been quite a robust set of discussions. So for us, the first question, and I'll kick things off, nice and casual, of course. Favourite character that Will Ferrell has played? Scott, I'll go to you first. Favourite character Will Ferrell has played?
I'm probably, and it was only a small part, but I thought it was really funny, in Wedding Crashers.
Oh, yes.
Chaz. He played Chaz in there. I thought that was a really funny character. And
the Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Robbie?
I'm saying, I know it's a small one too, but same, that little cameo in that movie. Mom, the Meatloaf! It is. Yeah, I'll go with that one too.
David put a good shout in the chat. God,
he took it. I love it. ELE. Everybody loves everybody. It's so
Jackie
good.
Moon.
If you haven't watched it, if you've been sleeping under a rock, that movie to me, Semi-Pro, is one of the most underrated movies for some odd reason. It's so good. Fourth place. But I would say him, that one, or Blades of Glory, Chaz Michaels.
Step Brothers, George. Step Brothers, definitely.
It's too difficult. Anchorman.
He's played some bangers, hasn't he?
Old school Frank the Tank. Scott, he knows all about that. Too good. I know. Tough question, boys. What's the next one?
What we got?
All right, boys. It's me now. What's the best attribute that you possess football-wise? What's the best thing you do on a football pitch?
I'm gonna be big-headed too. My speed, number one.
And peel the oranges, Rob.
My speed and both-footed, mate. I was always both-footed, so that was my big attribute, being both-footed.
Nice.
What about you, Arch?
Probably looking like Gonzalo Higuain now, or Willie Caballero is one of them. But I've got to get that jersey, by the way. Love it. For me, best attribute, probably, I don't know.
You're an engine, mate. He's an engine and heart.
I'll say work rate. That's it. No skill, just work rate.
You got a solid left foot there too, I have to say.
For me, probably my pace, I reckon. My pace and stamina. No, I'm not kidding. I've got one foot that I can use, but when I shoot with that foot, I can get a little bit of force behind it. I'll probably say my shot with my right foot, near, far, wherever you are, it will go in.
Absolutely. What's this last one? Our favorite one. Our favorite type of passes. So not dish, but like example, tortellini, spaghetti, gnocchi, something like that. So your favorite type of pasta.
Scott goes first.
It's hard because it depends on the sauce. Like different things match different sauce. Like a tortellini goes with a boscaiola. You want a good spaghetti with a red sauce. Look, if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with tortellini.
This one's easy. Penny for me all the way, mate. Penny for me. Easy.
Nice. I'll lock in an average one too, but I love it because it's an everyday, and I'll have it every day. Fusilli for me, the twirly one. Yeah. Always loved it.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But can't beat a field pasta, but for me, that's just going to have to jump on top. Look who we've got in the chat here. We've got penne with cream. Rob likes it with cream.
That's a subtle dig at Rob. Because Rob has boscaiola sauce without cream.
Casareccia is good too. I like the casareccia.
Casareccia, yeah, beautiful. Tagliatelle, another beautiful one. I'm getting hungry again, boys. It's too late to be hungry.
Now, I had pasta last night. Oh, fettuccine shouting there. Yeah, I see. I can't have feta cheating with red sauce.
Mate,
You can't have
what
it
kind
with red sauce. You can't have it with red sauce. Or
Nah, it doesn't match.
what kind of
well,
Italian?
Scott, thanks for
would,
your contribution on Into Football things, Scott. It was nice to have you with us. But that's it, mate.
I'll
Boys,
never
last
go for spaghetti ever, eh? I don't like. I never go for
Really?
spaghetti. Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
why. Just never spaghetti. If I'm gonna go long, I love bucatini.
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't even know what that is. So
It's a
must be
spaghetti.
sweet.
It's a thick one, and it's got a hole straight through the middle.
Rob, can you, mate, be careful with those hands, please.
Those analogies, mate. But look, this has been actually arguably more enjoyable than the football-related discussion.
100%.
And
Let's do this again.
I know. But all good things must come to an end. But more importantly, we're one step closer to the return of Premier League, which is why we were here tonight. And what an episode. I look at the clock, it's 55, 56 minutes. I'm like, where did that go? So thanks again to the awesome crowd. Thanks for smashing that like button if you're watching it live or you're watching it after the fact. Help us get to 400. We're working hard here, working as hard as my friend N'Golo Kenhi or Kante. Look, boys, just some final comments before we say goodbye and catch up next time.
No, I'm just glad it's back. See you later, international football. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Be safe, everyone. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you back on Tuesday night.
Absolutely well said. Take care. Thank you and be well.
Ciao.